Dylan, welcome to Real Talk.
Good to be here.
So tell me about your journey getting to Messari. So what led you to arrive at Messari and to research Deepin?
Yeah, so I think my interest started a few years back, probably like early 2021, bull market. I was kind of looking at real estate. How do we make it more affordable for Gen Z? A few friends of mine from college are like, let's try and fractionalize some houses, like sell $50 shares. And we kind of ended up looking at tokenization. It's like the ideal solution, like blockchain infra fully built out, the back end. It's fully built in terms of like automating compliance and documents and payments. And it's far more affordable and feasible to do that using blockchain. So I kind of came to blockchain with like a real problem I saw as the right solution. So I really got interested in tokenization. I was active, co-founded blockchain club in college, where I was at Princeton, as head of like protocol governance. I was really interested in like RWAs as their first like emerging as a narrative. Spent time in crypto venture capital, as well as with T. Rowe Price digital assets, just looking at tokenization, long-term institutional strategy, and just getting assets on chain. Whether that's increasing efficiency for shareholders or accruing value for token holders on L1s and L2s. I think that tokenization is kind of a long-term play. So I kind of started looking more in Deepin as creating more immediate value, as well as more investment potential at an early stage. I think it can create more organic value in terms of creating new business models that couldn't happen before, new infrastructure deployment in a much more efficient way. And so I thought it was a more compelling opportunity. And I think that kind of led me to Deepin broadly. Joined Messari as a research analyst on the enterprise team. I've been focusing on Deepin ever since. I think it's an emerging narrative. It's the best performing sector in crypto at the moment. That's just something that we're very excited about.
So what do you do exactly at Messari day to day?
Yeah, so the research team gets very deep in the weeds. So our job is basically to come up with sectoral theses, do deep dives, kind of identify emerging narratives, find out what's going to be what are the best performing assets within an asset class. So each of our analysts is kind of specialized in a sector. So some are in DeFi, some are in AI, L1's like underlying infrastructure. I'm more on the Deepin side. Like we look at everything broadly as a team. We try and be across, everything's connected in crypto, obviously. So we kind of look across the board. But the day-to-day is just doing very deep research. Whether that's reading, going through white papers, talking to founders, talking to investors, and consolidating all that research into like well-formed insights and theses that we can deliver to our clients.
Are there any counterintuitive insights that you can think of that you've come across in the last few months, let's say?
Counterintuitive. I think like just on like the Deepin side, I think one is like there's like big debate on like what are like the most promising or like value accruing Deepins. I think a lot of it's like, all right, like we want the most decentralized version. We want things to be computationally verified. Like crypto is a very digital native thing. So I think a lot of people are saying, okay, like Deepins that are, more GPU compute, file storage, these are networks that will accrue the most value for token holders and have the most potential from a crypto perspective. I think I've kind of found the opposite, where like Deepin's focusing in more on energy, wireless, are able to build stronger moats, more defensibility as businesses. And I think they're accruing more value overall just because it's hard for another Deepin to come in and just take away market share. So I think these what we call higher P or more physical Deepins are kind of the most compelling investment opportunities and at least in my opinion.
So I want to go a little bit deeper on that. So which subsectors in particular within that subset that you mentioned are you most excited about?
I think energy broadly. So I think it's kind of consolidating around virtual power plants and kind of carbon credits as the main sectors right now.
Carbon credits, you said?
Yeah, carbon credit production. So it's tied to energy production. So one example is this protocol called Glow. They basically incentivize solar farms to be deployed through tokens. And then through that, they have a whole verification auditing system where carbon credits can be basically created from that energy production. And because it's so hard to like verify carbon credits, like
Yeah.
it's a industry rampant with fraud, accounting issues. There's no like real market infrastructure or shared standards. Glow's created this very robust auditing system where I think kind of guarantees high quality carbon credit. It's also very capital efficient because solar energy is the cheapest energy source as of 2023. So it's able to create something that doesn't exist before, and it's like a very intensive verification system and process where it's going to be hard for other protocols to kind of come in and do something similar. So I think like that's like a good example of like a higher P protocol that I think has high defensibility and higher investment potential.
Right. So in terms of the blockers to mainstream adoption of Glow or similar applications, what do you think needs to be solved before we see kind of the next exponential uptick in adoption and usage?
Yeah, I think it really, for a lot of these protocols, they just kind of have to prove that their model works. So they all have very sophisticated designs and game theory implementations and crypto economics. And what they need to do is just show that it works. So Glow already has over 50 solar farms deployed across the US. They're about to deploy a farm in India, maybe Argentina as well. So if this model works, value is accruing to holders, it doesn't break over time, the verification system makes sense and is robust, I think that gives enough confidence to the market that these models work and that there's potential there to kind of do something new that doesn't exist before. So it's really just a matter of time and these protocols proving that what they say is going to work will work.
Awesome. Dylan, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.